Hey there, this is Beardfoot, and today we are making some Nazgul gauntlets. For all these tiny pieces of the fingers especially, a laser cutter comes in very handy to cut everything out, but it's also possible by hand, just takes a little bit longer. As material, as always, I use veg tanned leather in a thickness of 2.5 mm, and for the finger pieces itself it's 1.5 mm. After cutting everything out, there's quite some hole punching to be done for round holes and some sewing holes. Really important for the style and the shape of the gauntlet is these grooves that I cut here out on the flesh side. Where possible I use a guide, but most of it is just cut out freehand. For the very tips of the fingers, which are a little bit thicker, I thin out the end as well. After this we can jump right into dyeing. And to make this easier, I put all the small pieces on some thread and dip dye them. Dip dyeing is extremely fast here and I really can recommend it. The only downside is you need quite some dye and it will take up more dye than with other techniques. For shaping, you want to moisten the leather from all the sides and let it set for around half an hour before you start. Starting here with the braces, we want to use a bone folder to deepen the grooves that we have cut already and use those as folding line. Fold it along the line and use a hammer to hammer it down to make this a permanent fold. This leaves a mark just like that, and that's what we want for all the other grooves as well. Sadly, this works only in one direction. For the other direction we use the bone folder again and press the grooves from the flesh side outwards, so it leaves a similar mark but not that deep. In the end it should look kinda like a spider web, and that's exactly what we are aiming for. Also, we want to shape the pieces roughly in the correct position, but they do not need to be perfect yet. On all the finger pieces, a slight rounded band is fine. On the knuckles we have just a little bit of sewing to be done. With everything roughly in its shape, we can start with painting the pieces. I use some epoxy powder with some resist to give this a metal sheen. But any acrylic paint with a metal look is just fine. Dry brushing all over the pieces is completely fine here, to not make this a too even look. To make everything look more aged, I put on some antique gel that I let dry for quite a while. And then I rub all the high spots to make them a little bit shiny and seal everything with a resist. For all the smaller finger pieces, I dip them directly into the resist and take the chance to give them a little bit more shape. Next we need some flexible but very strong straps. Here you can use leather or these backpack straps. If you use backpack straps like I do here, you just wanna use an awl to open a hole and press a rivet right through it. Important here is that the first rivet that will attach it to the hand has to be in the other direction than all the other rivets. And this is what you do for all the fingers and hand straps. We got a very special thumb strap, a middle and index finger, a ring finger and a little finger, as well as the two hand straps. For all the finger straps we also need some fabric rubber band. This will be the one that attaches the finger to your finger and you put it on just like that. Next we can start putting on all the finger pieces, starting with the very pointiest finger piece, putting on 2 rivets but only set 1. Then take the next less pointy finger piece and do the very same. And for all the other rivets, apart from the very last one of course, you put on the smallest finger pieces. And this is how they should turn up in the end. The thumb is a little bit different because it got a bigger base piece at the end. And now we can put all the fingers on the hand. Be sure to note that there is a difference between right and left hand. This is the left hand piece, so we start with the pinky here. For the bracer piece we also need to set some loops to attach it to your arm. And from here up we start with attaching all the hand pieces. When you put on the hand strap, be sure to put it on in the right direction, because I have messed that up already. Work yourself from here on up to the finger pieces, but note that I leave here one hand piece out, because in the end we will attach a rubber band here as well. On the second last rivet we wanna put on the thumb, and since it's the left hand, the thumb is going to be on the right side. Here I put on the left out handpiece, but I do not set the rivets yet. Now with all the pieces in place, we can moisten, or mostly the hand area, and shape the pieces to fit better towards each other as well as closer to your hand. After drying, we want to put on some rubber bands here on the knuckle piece, on the hand inside, as well as on the hand piece that we have not set yet. Here an individual fitting to your hand and the glove that you're potentially wearing is very important to make it fit well and tight. And last step is putting in some band here for the braces. I'm using some rubber band. And here they are, two nice shiny Nazgul style gauntlets. You're still quite mobile in these. You can pick mostly everything up in the same way that you did without. Especially something like a sword is really nice to grab and makes it really good to wear. I hope you enjoyed this video. Check out my other tutorials and patterns and see you guys next time. Have a great day!